Okay, Libra, this is just an extra read for you. I'm just going to... Okay, sorry, I just had to turn that up so you could hear me. Anyway, I don't use this deck very often, so I'm going to just give you an indicator of what it says from the actual book. So this is the Star Codes Astro Oracle, Heather Rowan Robbins. And what I see here is it seems to be kind of a relationship aspect, but more along the lines of what is your relationship to money. There is something that you're trying to move ahead here, but it's almost like, and again, there could be aspects as well that relate around your relationship to a direct relationship that has a significant connection for you or meaning. But either way, sorry, I'm just trying to alter my light situation here. Hopefully that's a little bit brighter. Okay, so what I've got here, again, we're starting out with the 7th house relationship. We've got Mars motion. We also have Jupiter abundance. So there is something around money that seems to be, again, a focal point. And this seems to be some issue around you're restraining or feeling restrained or concerned in some way. Again, I don't really see any direct obstacles here. So again, it's you still in your own way, but there are also cards here about beware of self-delusion, and we also have plenty of material things that are out there. So I feel like you're confusing some of your ideas about money and how you're not somebody who's good enough, or you're not able to reach these things, or somehow it's out of reach or out of your range, and that's not the case. You are highly thought of, and we certainly have someone new is entering your life, and I feel like this could be in terms of a mentor, somebody who's coming through here. And again, this could, whether this is male or female, however it resonates for you, but it is somebody who's quite resourceful in the way that they use their money here. The Queen of Pentacles could also be, very well you, but these are just elements that are coming into play here for the month of August. Okay, so what I see here is we are looking at, again, I'll read from the book because this one I'm not overly familiar with, but again, we're talking about relationship with the 7th house. So this is about two equals relate with the intensity and intimacy. Somewhere you'd have dinner on the balcony, watch the sunset. It is concerned with how other equals come into your life. So how you interact with them, and includes marriage, open warfare, business partners. Okay, it's kind of getting a little too weird on that part. So I'm just going to skip it ahead to sort of the action of it. So the action with this card is that you're to nurture your relationships rather than test them. So it's more about considering the partnerships as things that you are planting seeds in to have something nourish you and your connection further out. So I feel like this is a card telling you that you are actually testing your relationships versus actually building on them. And you need to kind of look at it from that point of view and start finding the potential in a relationship and how it can benefit one another, so that it flourishes. So don't construct a tree house on that sapling. It can't yet bear the weight. So instead of crushing it with expectations, you're going to nurture your connections and protect them. So again, don't give them too much when they're not ready for all of the weight of the world or all of the weight of the needs that are required in a relationship. So in any relationship, there are three involved. There's you, your partner, and that tree, and the relationship itself. So all have needs that must be honored equally. So there's the part that needs to grow, there's the part that you need to get from it, there's the part that the other party needs to get from it. And so you have to find a way to compromise for the sake of the relationship. And so nurturing that sapling, so nurturing the small parts, keeps it safe from predators, and nourishing its roots until it becomes a tree that's strong enough to lean on. So you may not be able to fully lean on someone in a situation or a significant connection here, but you can certainly keep adding to the roots and nourishing things. So clarify your expectations with curiosity and flexibility. And if you are offered a business partnership, read the fine print. Unpack your baggage and cultural assumptions and family patterns that inform your concept of partnerships. Move past who is right, who is wrong, and develop a fresh understanding. Partnership for work or love may look easier if you come from the same background, but the more diversity that you bring to the table, the more resilient the relationship can be. So agree to contribute equally and celebrate your differences. I like that. All right, so the challenge of this card is that when you are working in tandem in love or in business, it can be tempting to either give your power away to your partner or to take over theirs. An unbalanced relationship can become untenable. So obviously it won't be working. All right, so the gift of this card is that you can fertilize the ground of your partnership. You can feed your partner with romantic moments, fair, honorable arrangements. When you are fascinated by the spirit of another, they then can become fascinated by you. Interesting card. I like that. Okay, and so Mars means motion. So it's also kind of a masculine energy here that comes up. So that would be the card of motion. And that one says, deals with Aries and Scorpio, deals with independence and enterprise and willfulness, aggression, passion, defensiveness, or defenses, even dealing with your immune system. So this is where things are more demanding, and this is where things are also more expressive. So the action that you want to take with this card is Mars urges you to take action, any kind of action. But when you take that action, it can be an action that gets you into trouble, or it can be an action that actually creates motion and puts you in the driver's seat and helps you think out the consequences before you make the moves. So it's the difference between raw energy and charging ahead in a sports car. This is the reference. So it can take you far if you add wisdom and guidance. But if you're speeding ahead without any thought to what is along the way, that would leave you with some areas of void. That will leave you with some things that you need to develop. So the card of Mars wants you to develop your strength and your bravery so that you can work it out, develop the muscles that you need to, get through a situation. In terms of connections for you, seems to be the strong point here. So it's developing the muscles so that you can go boldly into this new passionate area of your life. So it is also dealing with, it's kind of a yes. I would say, okay, so the card says it's teaching you that for your yes to truly mean yes, your no needs to be respected. So that would be something about creating a little bit of boundaries around what is best for you, as well as, still in around the idea of compromise. So know what you want and what you don't want, and be aware of those desires in the people around you. So learn to fight and fight fairly. Stand your ground with grace and compete against your own personal best. So if you're in a difficult situation, it could take real strength and willpower to transform or to escape. So you may need to dig in your heels so that you're not pushed around, or pull out your sword to draw a clear line in the sand. So again, about creating boundaries. Do what needs to be done, just make sure it's the right thing. So the challenge of the card is there's a domineering element, which obviously is in around a relationship, somebody that's really close to you here, significant connection, doesn't have to be romantic, but there's a domineering willfulness, some kind of misuse of sexuality, anger, belligerence, kind of a warring mentality, and that is sort of the shadow side of Mars. So that would be the challenge around that card. So you want to break up that momentum. So stop for a moment, think what your next move will be. And the gift of this card is that on the higher note, it also it gives you the energy to manifest and to create things that you want in your life. So it is also you being ready to be a hero in your own life, and to take on, situations with wisdom and bravery. And it's also a card of protecting you and those around you and protecting those relationships. So the last card out here on this would be Jupiter, and they are side by side. It is a 22 to the 23, so there is definitely advancement in this. So it does feel like you need to grow the relationship in a very methodical way, or strong connections seem to be. Don't give it more than what it's ready for. Don't expect more than what it's ready to, handle the relationship. So Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. So this is the rulers of Sagittarius and Pisces. The action of this card is to start thinking bigger. So this scenario requires you to expand, forgive, deal with things in a very fair way, but be curious, create more space around yourself. Be a little more philosophical in the way that you look at something. Don't see it in a one-dimensional way. And you want to think globally, which is what I'm seeing here with the World card as well. So you want to think globally and put in, bring in whatever contributions that you can to add to that global identification, so that you're actually a part of the world and you're contributing in a way that you feel is how you want to see the world. So you want to start talking to people who grew up in a circumstance that is completely different from you. So this is actually talking about entertaining new relationships here as well, so that you can learn from and diversify your perspective. So that'll help you discover the missing pieces that you need to be able to make up the whole. That's what's missing here in your relationships, and that's where you'll get more information by sort of spreading yourself out and connecting with others, or taking in more information on more of a global level here as well. But either way, it's also a card of optimism, abundance, generosity, goodwill coming back to you, you investing in you through education, publication, broadcasting. It's also a card that enables you to really get the energy that you need from people or from a room or anything that is even on an intimate level. But because Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, it says it can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. So watch that your expansive capacity does not cramp the experimentation of beginners or crowd-beloved introverts. Notice where you might overwhelm people that you love and give them room for the more subtle style. So if you are the one being so overwhelmed, appreciate your own value, expand in ways that work for you, and let the person with Jupiter energy do their thing. So the challenge of this card is Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed. Watch out for magical thinking and a Pollyanna avoidance of all problems. So try to stay realistic here. But the gift of the card is give and you shall receive. And that'll help you to expand your worldview so that you can reach out and really connect with your universe. That is excellent. Okay, and then we're into the Eight of Swords energy. So I didn't do any clarifiers on this, guys, but I mean, we all know the Eight of Swords, especially if you're a reader, is an indication that you are feeling somehow you're very worried or feeling trapped in an idea, something that's restricting you, and it feels like it's in around your relationships. So it feels like you are not certain that that you have any way forward, especially in a particular connection. But what it's saying is don't saddle the relationship with a whole bunch of ideas or a whole bunch of things that you need, want, and all of that. You're going to have to kind of give back to yourself and reach into the world to sort of connect for those parts. But for the relationships that you do have, you can still nurture the sapling. You can still give small things and allow that to just continue to grow, because there is something that you're gaining from it, but you're not getting the whole of what you need from that relationship or those connections specifically. So just grow and connect in the ways that you can and expand to fulfill your other needs there. But either way, I think that you feel like you don't have a lot of options here, and that there is something here that you want to break free from. This could also be that there's an indication that there's analysis paralysis, that kind of thing, where you feel like you're a victim here. You can't move forward, that kind of thing, and that you need to push forward, and that's why we've got the motion of the Mars energy. So you might be a little caught up in your fears at this time, but your answers will come when you start to expand and connect and kind of get into the world here a little bit and sort of remove yourself from this victimhood. So again, the World card for sure does indicate that you need to have some kind of connection in more of an expansive way. There's all kinds of cards that indicate that, especially with the Jupiter card. So you really do need to start putting your best foot forward and start connecting with other people to sort of fill the needs that you're not getting filled, maybe in the areas of your current connections. Like I said, I mean, these are definitely cards that indicate you are on a path here that's going to, sorry guys, you're definitely on a path here where you're going to complete something that will be very successful for you, because not only is it surrounded by the World card, the Queen of Pentacles, as well as the Jupiter card, but there is plenty of material things here. So there's money ahead here for you. There's money that you are, as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, and it's not just straight manifestation, because we live in the practical real world, and that requires action, and that's what Mars is all about. So yes, tap into source to be able to move something ahead, but you have to take the action steps, because all of this is grounded energy. All of this is something that you need to get your answers from the world at large, and that needs you to kind of open up to things, like I said. And that's where you will be also doing a lot of self-acceptance and, finding more spiritual growth and joy through those connections at large. And it's also that card of, the World card is also about sort of figuring out who you are. There's some kind of sense of, doing personal exploration around the World card. Queen of Pentacles, I feel like this is where you're headed. It definitely has that energy of, I'm pulling in the resources that I need. I'm trying to still bring in the things that I need to make the most energy from. So again, it's pooling resources, so you could still be figuring out the knowledge networks that you need, or you could be still trying to figure out how to open up your world here, because like I said, this is more of a self-actualization card, and you're still waiting on something that's revolving around money, and there is going to be a successful conclusion to that. And it's not too far out, I would say, given we have all the action cards as well as the growing cards, and, definitely the Queen of Pentacles is still building on the resources. So there's something here that's telling me that, you've been waiting for something that is in around a lot of abundance, a lot of money, a lot of success, a lot of fulfillment, something along that line. So I just feel like you're in that space right now, and it might be that you need to do a little bit more research. It might be that you need to do a little bit more pooling of resources to get everything organized, but either way, goals are going to be achieved here. And like I said, you're in the energy already. You're in the energy of things being more advantageous for you. So again, this is nurturing energy with the Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who looks after their family. This is somebody who is trying to look for practical solutions to problems, that kind of thing. But I feel like it's more than that. It's you building on achievements right now. So I feel like if you don't know what those achievements are just yet, I feel like when you start looking into the world a little bit more, doing more expanded energy, this is where you're going to get some kind of a mentor or somebody who's coming into your life that will help you to enhance or build on something. So I feel like your money situation is going to improve here. Like I said, there's a lot of indicators here that you're building wealth, and you're doing it through your abilities, and certainly going to be something that's going to click everything into place, and everything's going to work together because you have such a lot of connecting cards here and growing things incrementally. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Eight of Swords, get out of your own way here. You're sort of holding yourself back. No direct obstacles. As I mentioned in other reads, it seems to be very consistent. But again, energy will differ as to when you all come to these conclusions. But I see a lot of really positive energy. You just have to stay to the path. And again, stay out of your own way. That's what I have for you, Libra, for the month of August.